Hello everyone, welcome back to FPL Start. Today I gonna discuss about FPL final analysis for Game Week 3. So before starting, if you are new in this channel, please subscribe this channel for FPL content throughout the season. Now let's start. At first I will discuss about the goal scored has expected goal score ratio for top 6 team, and Manchester City is favorite here. They already scored 6 goals in first 2 game week. Their expected goal score ratio is 4.3. This means they are attackingly overperforming, and the second team here is Chelsea. They also scored 6 goals like Manchester City, but their expected goal score ratio is 1.2, less than Manchester City, and their expected goal score ratio is 3.1. This means they are doubling their expectation. Tottenham, on the other hand, got 5 goal score in 2 game week, and Brighton has got the same. But if you look at the expected goal score ratio for Tottenham is 4, but Brighton has 3.9. This means that this team are performing as usual, and Tottenham and Brighton this season attacking are also good and solid team. If you look at the Liverpool, on the other hand, their expected goal score ratio is 6.7, but they only scored 4 goals. This means they are attackingly underperformed and they missed some of the few amazing chance. And I think Liverpool will improve attackingly, and this will replicate their performance in near future. The sixth team here is Arsenal. They score 4 goals this season, and their expected goal score ratio is 3. So I think Arsenal, as usual, performing well attackingly, and I think in next few game week they will also score goal. Now move on to the goals conceded versus expected goal conceded ratio for top 6 team. And if you look at the tally there, Liverpool and Arsenal not even concede 1 goal right now in this 2 game week. And if you look at the expected goal conceded ratio for Liverpool, it's 0.8. This means they are the best defense right now in this season. Arsenal, on the other hand, also looking defensively solid. Their expected goal conceded ratio is 1.9. In last season, they defensively doing amazing thing, and this season also Arsenal defensively looking rock solid. And if you look at the third team here is Manchester City, they concede 1 goal against Ipswich, and it's a surprising one because Manchester City defensively are so solid that they look to be the best team, but still they concede 1 goal. And if you look at their expected goal concede ratio is 1.5, this means their goalkeeper Ederson cannot save the shot of Ipswich, and that's why they concede the goal. And if you look at the Arsenal, on the other hand, Raya make amazing save of Watkins, and that's why they not even concede one single goal. And if you look at the fourth team here is Tottenham, they also concede just 1 goal, but if you look at their performance in defensively, they improve defensively this season. So you can go for Tottenham defender for your team. Then Brighton, on the other hand, also looking good defensive sense. They also concede 1 goal in game week 1 and 2, and their expected goal concentration is 1.7. This means Brighton and Tottenham this season looking good in defensive sense. Nottingham is also looking good in this FPL season. They only concede 1 goal in game week 1 and 2, and their expected goal conceded ratio is 2.1, which means that they are now the sixth best defense in Fantasy Premier League. Now move on to the goal conceded best expected goal conceded for bottom 6 team. And this season, Wolves defensively look very bad. They already conceded 8 goals, and if you look at their defense against Chelsea, they created a lot of chance for Chelsea attacker, and Madueke got hat trick, Palmer got hat trick assist, and also scored 1 goal. And if you look at the expected goal concentration for Wolves, it's quite high, 3.7. So if you are a Wolves defender owner, then you should need to sell them. But if you're any attacker play against Wolves, then you should obviously play them because Wolves are not a very good defense this season. Everton, on the other hand, last season defensively looked solid, but this season they are looking horrible also. In the match against Tottenham, Pickford make an horrible mistake and Son utilized it. And if you look at their goal concede in game week 1 and 2, they already conceded 7 goals, where their expected goal concentration is 4.4. This means Everton defensively not looking good. And if you're any attacker or midfielder will play against Everton, then you should obviously play them. Ipswich, on the other hand, concede 6 goals, but they play against Liverpool and Manchester City, two very good attacking sides. So I think their data will improve near future. So at present, Ipswich is the third post team in EPL. And if you look at the fourth team here at Chelsea, they already conceded 4 goals. And if you are looking for a Chelsea defender, I don't think you should go for them because Chelsea attackingly looking good. And under Maresca, they are playing very attacking football, but defensively they are not looking good. So if you are thinking for Gusto or any other Chelsea defender or goalkeeper, you should avoid them. On the other hand, the fifth team here is Crystal Palace. They in last season defensively look solid, but this season they already conceded 4 goals. But if you look at their defensive data, is 2.9 expected goal concede ratio. This means their defense is underperforming. So I expect Crystal Palace to do well near future. The sixth team here is Aston Villa. They concede 3 goals and their expected goal concede ratio is 4.2. This means in game week a lot of FPL manager going for Aston Villa defense, but it might be a mistake because Aston Villa defensively not looking good this season. Now move on to the FPL game with the predicted clean sheet, and Arsenal has got 45% chance against Brighton to maintain clean sheet. Then Manchester City has got also 38% chance against West Ham to maintain the clean sheet. Chelsea defensively not looking solid, but they have got 34% chance against Crystal Palace to maintain the clean sheet. And Aston Villa has got 34% chance of maintaining clean sheet against Leicester, and Brentford got 32% chance against Southampton to maintain the clean sheet. Now move on to the first dilemma discussion, and it's for Haaland non-owners. Will you buy Haaland for game week 3 after a hat-trick against Ipswich? And 23% engaged FPL manager thinking that they will go for Haaland without taking hit, and 38% are even thinking that they will go for Haaland even with -4 hit. 8% still not decided about Haaland whether they will go for Haaland or not, and 30% Haaland non-owner will not go for Haaland. And my thought is there is that I'm a Haaland owner. So if I don't have Haaland, then I will probably go for him. But I don't prefer to take hit at the early part of this FPL season. Now move on to the second question here. And will you buy any Chelsea midfielder or forward for game week 3? And if you look at the engaged FPL manager trends here, is that they are preferring Palmer, and 37% engaged FPL manager are going for Palmer, 13% for Madueke, and 13% for Nicola Jackson, and 13% are going for 37% are going for none. And if you look at my ranking, and if I want to go for a Chelsea midfielder or forward option, I will go for Palmer if possible. But if I cannot go for Palmer, then Madueke can be a good option because I think against Crystal Palace in game week he will start. Now move on to the third dilemma discussion, and it's will you play your wildcard in game week 3? And 39% of engaged FPL manager are going for wildcard right now, and they already activate it. 29% are saying that they will go for wildcard in game week 3, but 22% are not sure. I think they will not go for their wildcard in game week 3, and 10% saying that they will not wildcard in game week 3. And my preference here is also with this 10% that I will not go for wildcard in game week 3. Now move on to the question number 4, and it's for Pedro Porro owners. Will you play Pedro Porro in your FPL starting lineup for game week 3 against Newcastle away? 44% are saying that they will start Pedro Porro, and I'm also lining up with them because I have no other option. I don't want to play Nikolenko in my team, so that's why I will play Pedro Porro in my starting 11. But if you look at the engaged FPL manager trends here, 13% engaged FPL manager are keeping Pedro Porro, but they will play him as a bench option, and 39% even selling Pedro Porro, but 4% surprisingly are buying Pedro Porro because they're thinking that Tottenham defense is looking good. But my preference here that I will play Pedro Porro right now in my game week 3 team. Now move on to the question number 5, and which 9.5 million to 10.6 million midfielder will you prefer to buy in game week 3? And 86% are going for Palmer, and I am also lining up with this because I think Palmer is the best 9.5 to 10.6 million midfielder right now. Then 7% are going for KDB and 7% are going for Saka. But if you look at my ranking, I prefer Palmer right now because Chelsea attackingly looking good, and I want to hold a Chelsea attacker, and that's why I think Palmer should be the option. Now move on to the sixth question here, and who is the best Nokunku replacement for game week 3? And if you follow the conference league, you can find that in conference league Nokunku playing for 90 minutes. So I am not expecting Nokunku to play against Crystal Palace in game week 3. So I think you should replace Nokunku if possible. And the engaged FPL manager trends here is that 45% engaged manager think that they will replace Nokunku with Rogers. 41% are thinking for Smith Rowe, and 9% for Madueke, 5% for Gibson. And if you look at my ranking, if I want to play safe, then I will go for Rogers, just 5.1 million midfield option. I think he will give me the flexibility of my team. Then Smith Rowe can also be a viable option for me. But if I want to go for attackingly well, then I think Madueke has got the best chance to get attacking return. So this three player I am still considering. I'm not sure whether I will go for Rogers or Smith Rowe or Madueke. Now move on to the question number 7. And what is your plan on Arsenal defender in game week 3 ahead of Brighton home fixture? And 89% of Arsenal defender owner are thinking that they will start Arsenal defender in game week 3, and I think it's a good decision because Arsenal defensively looks solid, so they can maintain clean sheet against any opponent. And but I surprised when I see that 11% are going for Arsenal defender and they will buy them in game week 3 and start them. It's quite surprising because Brighton is also looking well in attacking sense. So 11% are going for Arsenal defender, even they think that Brighton is a good attacking team. But my thought is that here is that I have no Arsenal defender right now, and I will not buy any Arsenal defender because I don't think Brighton home is a good fixture. Now move on to the question number 8, and is which Aston Villa defender do you think is the best for game 3, considering their easy run of fixture? And if you look at the engaged FPL manager trends here, is that 42% engaged FPL manager are thinking that Nedeljkovic is the best option from Aston Villa defense. 31% are going for popular Konsa, and 19% are for Pau Torres, and 8% for Ding. And if you look at my ranking, I'm considering Nedeljkovic for my Mikolenko replacement because he's just 4 million, give me some money in my bank. Then I think for me, Ding is the best option there because he's quite attacking, but his minute is not sure. When Champions League start, I think Ding and Madsen will rotate. So who will play in that EPL, I don't know. That's why I think it might be a risk. But if you look at the third option here is Pau Torres. I like Pau Torres because he might be a differential player. Now move on to the question number 9. What is your transfer plan in game week 3? And 34% engaged FPL manager thinking that they will going for -4 hit, and it's quite surprising for me because I am not expecting this. And if you look at the second best option here is that 33% engaged FPL manager are thinking that they will use all their free transfer, and I'm also lining up with this because I think in game week 3 I will use my two free transfer. 22% engaged FPL manager are thinking that they will roll their one or two transfer, and 11% are thinking they will roll one transfer and use one transfer in game week 3. Now move on to the question number 10 and the last question, and is who will be your captain in game week 3? And it's Haaland for engaged FPL manager. And I'm also lining up with Haaland in the captaincy armband for game week 3 because I think in game week 3 against West Ham, Haaland is the best captaincy choice. But there might be some differential player also as a good captaincy shout. Palmer has got 20% engaged FPL manager trust, and Saka got 13% engaged FPL manager trust, and Salah got 7%. So I think Haaland, Palmer, Saka, Salah might be the best captaincy shout for this game week. But I'm still lining up with Haaland because I think in game week 3 I will captain Haaland. Now I will discuss about FPL Game Week 3 top 10 transfer, and if you don't have Haaland in your team, I think for Game Week 3 you need to go for him because against West Ham away match Haaland can be explosive. He can get mega haul like the Game Week 2. Then Palmer is also a very good option against Crystal Palace home match. So I quite like Palmer. If you don't have Palmer and have any road to go for him, then might go for him. Then Smith Rowe is a very cheap option, just 5.6 million, playing for Fulham as a number 10, so he might be a good option. But his expected goal in ratio is not quite good, no 0.38. This means he's not explosive. Rogers, on the other hand, just 5.1 million Aston Villa midfielder, but he's also like Smith Rowe. His expected goal concept, expected goal environment ratio is quite low, no 0.24, which is less than I think for Smith Rowe. But if you look at the Madueke, his expected goal in ratio is 0.65, which is quite attacking, and he's quite explosive when he starts for Chelsea. So I think if you want to go for a short-term punt, then Madueke can be a good option. Then Robinson playing very well for Fulham, but they are defensively not solid. But Robinson quite attacking. So for game week, I think against Ipswich, Robinson can be a good option, and he can give you some return from clean sheet or attackingly. Now move on to the seventh option for me, and it's a Raya. A lot of FPL managers going for Arsenal defender, Arsenal goalkeeper Raya, but I am not totally convinced that I will make this kind of move because I don't think I will go for a goalkeeper move in game week 3. And but if you want to go for Raya, it might be a good option because Arsenal defensively looks solid, so Raya might be a good option. Then in rank 8 and 9 position, I put Welbeck and Joe Pedro from Brighton. I am not totally convinced about it in game week 3. They are very good option. I think after game week 3, they are very good option. But in game week 3, I am not totally convinced about because against Arsenal, I am not expecting too much goal from Brighton. And then number 10, I think you should ignore Price from Leicester. He's 4.1 million, but I think he will start for Leicester all the match, but he's not a very good option. Leicester defensively not looking good. Now move on to the FPL Game Week 10 top 10 preferred sale, and I think if you are a Solanke owner, you need to sell him right now because he will not start in Game Week 3. He is injured, so I think for Game Week 3 he has an essential sale. Then if you look at the Nokonko on the other hand, if you follow the Conference League, he is not he's starting for Chelsea in the Conference League and playing 90 minutes, and that's why I think he will not start in the Game Week 3 against Crystal Palace, and that's why think you should consider. And that's why I think Nokunko is an essential sale for Game Week 3. And if you look at the Foden on the other hand, he is not feeling well. And Pep Guardiola says it in the press conference. So I am not expecting Foden to start in Game Week 3. And the fourth option here is Garnacho. And I think for Game Week 3, Garnacho is a good sell because his minute is not totally secured. In Game Week 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, he is starting from the bench, and it's not good for a player of Garnacho. But if you look at his goal ratio is 2.57, it's quite good. But as he has got minute breaks, so that's why I think he's a good sell for Game Week 3. Now move on to the fifth player here is Bardiol. He's a 6 million defender playing for Manchester City, and I don't totally convinced about Bradil because he is playing in the defensive point of view, and I think he's now quite defensive for Manchester City. So 6 million defender has not got any attacking threat. It's not good for your team, and that's why he's a good sell for game week 3. Now move on to the six and seven player in this list, and it's two player from Newcastle. It's Gordon and Isak, and I'm not totally convinced about Newcastle attack because if you look at their first two games, they are not playing well in attacking sense. So that's why I think you might sell Gordon or Isak, but still it can hurt you because against Tottenham they have got good record. So it might be wise to keep them. But if you are considering selling Gordon or Isak, then I think it might also be a good and viable option. The eighth ranked player here is Eze. A lot of FPL managers selling Eze, and I think why they are selling is I can get it because they have got frustrated with Eze because in first two games he got blanked. In first game he was unlucky, and in second game week I think a lot of FPL manager got frustrated with Eze because Crystal Palace attacker are missing chance. So I'm not totally happy with Eze. I'm also a Eze owner, so selling Eze might be a good option, but if you want to sell Eze, I think you can consider that he might return in game week 3 because Chelsea in the last two matches defensively not looking solid. So Eze might utilize this and get attacking return. So selling Eze is an optional option for you. Now move on to the rank 9 player, and it's Fernandez from Manchester United. His golden ratio is 1.09, which is quite good. But in past two games he blanked. That's the concerning thing. If you look at the Fernandez performance, he's in first half he's playing as a number 9, and after Jardi came in, he playing as a number 10. So Fernandez playing well, but I think his owner is quite unlucky that he not even getting any return. Now move on to the rank 10, and it's Watkins. A lot of FPL manager got Watkins, and they are selling him. I am not got the brainer. Why they selling Watkins? Because against Leicester away, he can get attacking return. So if you are a Watkins owner, you need to ignore this kind of activity. And that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please like this video. And if you are new in this channel, please subscribe this channel and don't forget to press the bell icon. Good luck for your team.